Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a exploring Mactan Island video, and I'm on my motorbike, and I'm starting where I ended my last exploring Mactan Island video, down on the south corner down there on Cordova, in Cordova town, and I'm going up the main highway there up to Mactan Newtown, where I've just done a video as well. I will have a more in-depth description and map at the end of this video. This was a Sunday trip. I really don't like driving the motorbike during the week with heavier traffic. Sunday is a lot lighter traffic, and I've just come out of the long drive that goes down to the Cordova Pier area that I took you to on a previous video. And you'll get an idea a little bit about the developments along here. Mactan has a number of housing developments along here, many resorts, and I will do another, maybe a 2-day trip at some point in time, where I'll come over here and go down some of these side roads and try to visit more of the resorts and the back roads, small skinny roads, just see what's down there. But this trip today, we're just taking the main road and taking it up to Mactan Newtown, big development up there. I am driving a Rusi 250. It's a bigger bike than the very common bikes here are anything from 100cc, 115 and 110, 115, 125, 150. So this is a Rusi 250. Bigger, heavier, handles differently than the smaller bikes and scooters. But I am getting used to it. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I am not real comfortable with Filipinos drive. Well, there are virtually no rules of the road. There are rules, but I think few of the drivers understand what they are, and even fewer attempt to go by those rules. One thing you learn very quickly is that Filipinos share the road, and I mean literally share the road. They share the lanes. You can see people coming at me using my lane, and very common, and people tolerate that, and they move over, and they give room for oncoming traffic to use their lane as well. So be aware of that. Many people in the Philippines do not have driver's licenses, and if they have a driver's license, they've never had any driver's training. So it's kind of, lane lines are just kind of a suggestion, if even that. Sometimes if there are 2 lanes, they will quickly make 3 or 4 lanes out of it. And like I said, they will give way. They will make way if a motorbike is coming up beside you on one side. A lot of the vehicles will move over, give them a little room. Going across the bridges, they will drive so there's room for motorbikes to pass on one side. For those of you who don't know, I've been making videos since 2015. I've always carried a camera with me here in the Philippines, and I've done a lot of condominium, real estate videos. What do the condos look like? What do they cost to rent? What do they cost to buy? Because I would have real estate agents grab me in the malls and say, "Come and look at my condominium right now." And I'm interested in real estate. I would go take a video, put it up. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of what is here in Cebu City. Oh, I'm not a disclaimer. I'm not a broker, an agent, not involved at all in the real estate business. I just happen to have a camera, take videos, and put them up on this YouTube channel. Off to the right, there is a development. I'm not sure. Is that Alegria? I'm not sure. Not sure. I've done videos at Alegria. I've done a video at the huge housing development called Ahoya. And maybe I'll put a link at the end of this video to that that video as well. This is one of the main roads. When you come off the new CCLEX Cebu Cordova Link Expressway that links the South Road properties of Cebu City over to Cordova Mactan, the road splits, and you can go to the left or you can go to the right. I went to the right, and you come off of that nice 4-lane bridge, but it drops you down into almost entirely 2-lane traffic. So I know they've been expanding the roads here a little bit, and over the next couple of years, I suppose they will. Much of this perhaps will be 4-lane traffic, but at the present time can get a little congested. So it's gonna, you aren't gonna make really good time. If you are in a hurry, leave yourself plenty of time to get to the airport, for instance. You may have noticed some modern buses. There are more and more modern buses running in Cebu and around the Philippines, but there's still a lot of jeepneys as well. And you'll find that V-Hires, what's called V-Hire, it's a van for hire, they often run regular routes as well. So you can stand by the side of the road. They've got certain places where buses stop, jeepneys stop. And here's a bus pulled over right here, and you'll see that a couple places along the way, pulled over to pick somebody up. Somebody standing on the side of the road, waving them down. Jeepney pulling out. One complaint with jeepneys for so long, a couple of complaints. Number one, they were often not very fuel efficient. They put out a lot of pollution. Number two, they would stop anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere you stopped, somebody held out their hand, flagged them down, they would stop and hold up traffic behind them. Now this is they've got traffic signals here that aren't working. Normal day, that would be a very busy intersection, and people would just take turns going. People would stick out their nose from one side, and eventually traffic would stop, allow that side to come for a while. And that's kind of how it works. Very few traffic signals. Hardly ever see a stop sign. So even these side roads, traffic will come off these side roads, and they don't stop. They just pull right out into traffic and do their best to merge. So it can be a little challenging, to say the least. When I did that Google Map thing to find out how far it was going to be and lay out the route, I think it said it was going to take me close to 30 minutes. And this video, I had this camera going the whole length of the way, and I think it took me in the end about 17 minutes. So when I did the map, actually it was during rush hour in the afternoon. So the traffic was heavier. Like I said, this is a Sunday. Very light traffic on this particular day. Mactan Island, of course, has the Mactan Cebu International Airport. Couple terminals, domestic terminal and international terminal there, a new international terminal. It's got several industrial zones, got several big plants over here. They've got a big Timex watch factory. They've got a motorbike factory, at least one motorbike factory over here. Lots of things going on over here. A number of malls, a few hospitals, and many resorts. Anything from the simple resort on up to the 4- and 5-star resorts. And those resorts will often bring in white sand because it is not native to this part of Cebu. They'll haul in white sand, so they've got pretty nice white sand beaches. I've done some of these resorts. Actually, they combine 2 or 3. That might be a resort, hotel, plus condominium complex as well. So you can buy by condominium in one of the buildings, and I've done a number of videos at those places. You have a new Sheraton being built up on the north end of the island. You've got many top resorts over here. So if that is, and you can pay for day use. Day use often includes a lunch buffet, a dinner buffet, something like that. Use of the facilities. And then you can buy package deals for other activities, the banana boat ride, the paragliding, do you call it that? Being pulled by a boat with you're gliding up above the boat in the air. Parasailing, maybe? I don't think that's it either. You have several scuba dive shops over here, and businesses if you want to go scuba diving. Several different locations out of this area. Snorkeling. Our destination on this part of the trip, Mactan Newtown, is a big multi-use development. Several different condominium projects there by Mega World, which has projects all over the Philippines. And they're building out. They're actually bringing the sea in. They're bringing the ocean beach, the sea beach, inland basically, and going to have some retail shops up and around that. The previous video I did about Mactan Newtown went into some of the details about the condominium projects. There's several commercial buildings in there, a grocery store in there, a lot of BPO, business process outsourcing. Another intersection there, wasn't too busy. The lights are there, but I don't think they're operating yet. I'm not sure if they're not fully installed or just not in use because it was a Sunday. When I first came here in August 2015, I seriously considered getting a place on Mactan, because as I did my research and looked around, it seemed that prices were less expensive over here in general. Of course, location. But prices have been increasing each and every year up until the lockdowns in 2020, early 2020. It seems that rental prices since the lockdowns have been reduced 20 to 30%. There again, depending on location, depends on several factors, and I'm working on a couple other real estate videos, how they're going to be affected by various things. Now, because the Philippines, when I'm making this video, still haven't opened up, still have many restrictions for travel. There's over 85 countries in the world who have no restrictions, no vaccine required, no mask required, no health pass or anything else. Come to our country, spend your money, enjoy yourself. The Philippines has tens of thousands, and Cebu City area, other areas, tens of thousands of condominiums, of hotels, of resorts. The rooms are, for the most part, they're empty, they're vacant. So there's many motivated sellers and landlords, renters out there. Sometimes you have to do a little work to find those. Other people, they have the budget, and the cost isn't as important as finding what they want, where they want. It's a nice place, proper furnishing, good location, internet, electricity, reliability. There's been discussion in the last month among members of Congress and such about POGOs, Philippine Offshore Gaming Organizations, I believe it's called. Most of those are Chinese-run gambling organizations. Gambling is pretty much illegal in China, my understanding, and they come here and they can open up their businesses. And there's some issues with the crime involved with some of them not being legally registered, not paying proper taxes. There's a push by many Congress people to shut them down, to outlaw them, and other people who understand, they rent thousands, tens of thousands of square meters of space, office space. They also rent huge amounts of space for their employees, usually Chinese employees. And if you outlaw them and force them to go back to China, that's even more. That's even, that's tens of thousands more empty units. They do get, the government does get a little bit of revenue, but many of the politicians say, well, it's not enough. It's not worth the issues that we're having with them. The Chinese, there's a lot of kidnappings that have happened over the years. Some of the POGOs, they will kidnap some of the workers or other people who are gambling and hold them for ransom. Some issues like that. I met a girl a few years ago, and a real estate agent told me too, over here on Mactan Newtown, that the POGO organization, and I don't know how accurate this is, but that's what I was told by this real estate agent, that a POGO Chinese organization had rented or bought one whole condominium tower building for their operation and to house their employees. And one girl I went out on a couple of dates with, she told me she worked in one of those towers, worked for a POGO organization. She spoke Mandarin Chinese, and another bus there stopped to pick somebody up, and she felt like she was discriminated against being Filipino, and so she quit working there. She was I think she went to Hong Kong eventually, went to Hong Kong to be a caretaker for some wealthy individual. So it was going to pay her quite well. And I know she told me, I think the second time I met her, she said, well, I'm going to Hong Kong to work unless you don't want me to. And I said, well, gee, I just met you. I'm not gonna tell you not to go to Hong Kong. Anyway, this ride today was twice as fast as it would be on a normal weekday, with a lot more traffic out here. Nice ride, and I'll do another video from Mactan Newtown back across the bridge back to Cebu City here in a few days. There is a pretty large Korean population over here. Well, there was before the lockdowns. I think all over the Philippines, Koreans are the number one tourists that come here, and then Chinese and Japanese, and then the whole group of Western nations, I think, fit in, equal about the same amount of Asians, I believe. I looked at the figures at one point in time. And I think the biggest majority by a long shot of the Koreans went back to Korea once they started locking everything down. And I know a Korean guy owns a Korean dive shop over here, and he said, no, they're not coming back yet. They're not going to come back until all the restrictions are dropped. And that's pretty much the case. What I found as a month or so ago, I took my motorbike all the way around Cebu Island and stopped at a lot of resorts. Most of them were closed, and this is going into Mactan Newtown. Most of them were closed. Those that were open didn't. I was the only guest. They would get a little bit of weekend day use type Filipinos use. McDonald's over on the corner, and the condominium towers, commercial buildings here. I'll give you that map and a little description of the area I rode through now. So I'm starting down here. I had been down here on this pier in my previous video, one of my previous videos, and I'd come across this third bridge, the CLEX, Cebu Cordova Link Expressway Bridge, and came up here and down here, and I stopped here, did a video. And anyway, now I'm starting at this location, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going up here to Mactan Newtown, which is up here. Got the international airport here, the old 2-lane bridge, the newer 4-lane bridge going over to Mandaue City, Cebu City down here, and South Road Properties is where the new bridge comes in and brings you over to Cordova. This area here, got a river that runs through here. This is Cordova. Much of Mactan Island is Lapu Lapu City, and then you have a number of barangays along here as well. I'm going to point out a few things along the way. I'm going to do another, probably take a couple days over here and visit some of these resorts and some of these back roads, if you will. Anyway, this trip is on the main road here. And you got just down the road a little bit from where I was, Solea Mactan Resort. I've done a video there. And for those of you who aren't aware, I've got over 1,000 videos since 2015. I've done a lot of videos of condominiums, of resorts, of travel, cost of living, what do condominiums look like, subdivisions, what do they look like, what do they cost to rent, to buy. So be sure to check those out. So you have Gaisano Gran, Cordova over here. You've got several Gaisano malls on Mactan Island. The separation, the boundary line between Cordova and Lapu Lapu is this river here. You cross that and you enter into Lapu Lapu. Little Rock, Cebu. I stayed there a couple nights and did a video there, as a matter of fact. I'm sure that's the same one. Got Futura Homes by Phil Invest. Sekyung Village, I've done a video there. Condominiums. Maragondon is one of the barangays here. And let me just zoom out for a little bit. If you come across the old 2-lane bridge and just keep going straight, that takes you right to this intersection right here. And I believe they call that the crossing, where two main roads cross. Now, I've found when I've been giving directions to taxi drivers that I want to go to the crossing and take a left or take a right, and the crossing to them means an intersection. And when they come over the bridge here, they say, "Oh, do you want me to take a right here? Take a right here?" Because that's the first intersection over the bridge. So that's one of the ways you can be confused with the different terminology. International Airport, and it says it's 10.6 kilometers and 31 minutes. My video is a lot less than that, so it was on a Sunday with less traffic. Zoom back in here, Mactan Isla Resort and Casino. All these place marks are not always accurate, you'll find, because anybody can put a place mark on a map, the way it seems. Anyway, J Park Island Resort, I have stayed there overnight and done a video there as well. Maribago Public Beach up in here. Blue Water Maribago Beach Resort. Tambuli Seaside Resort and Spa, I have not been there yet. Crimson Resort and Spa, very nice place. Vista Mar Beach Resort and Country Club, Mactan Newtown Beach. This is Newtown Boulevard here, so this whole area here is Mactan Newtown. And going up just a little bit further, Movenpick, I've done a video there. B Resort, I have not been there yet. You got a new Sheraton being built up here. Emerald Bay Resort Casino. Dusat Thani, Mactan, that's right next to Amisa private residences, big condominium there. I've been out there and done a video there as well. And then you've got another resort out here. So there you have it, a quick look at the east side, the main road going along the east side of Mactan Island. That's where most of the resorts are off of that road. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.